like Fortnite.
What's up, MZ?
Oh,
Hello.
Is it super hot?
Hello, just popping
Is it super hot, or is there another game?
Welcome.
How are your
Oh,
electric
it's a
servers
new
running?
game for Quest.
Good,
Oh.
good. I just upgraded
I will
my,
try that too.
my
That also looks a little bit
PC
cool because it's a little bit jetpack
with
there
an
too.
SSD, and now the
So,
Oh wow! What's it called? Do you know?
that
I
I
think
can
my
maybe
internet
get
is
it here.
broken. It's very...
Okay.
I'm losing it all the time.
Oh,
Did you guys do your
where am
Too
I?
many dropped UDP packets.
Oh.
Yeah.
No, I can't. I can find it here,
I'm
but
trying
I forgot
an
what
SSD
it's
on
called.
my
But
Raspberry Blitz.
it's almost at the top if you go into the store.
I wanna
Okay,
see some
I'll try to
sick,
find it. And you said you can
weekly
jetpack in there too and
benchmarks for the
everything?
new MacBook.
And it's
or
shooter, and
iMac
it's like
mini,
it's like
Mac
it's like
mini
a
with the
what's it called when it's like
With the ARM
Fortnite
chip.
and Pig and stuff like that.
Seems to be
Fire
really
now.
fast.
underwater?
yeah,
and
but here's the
efficient.
thing. There's like some crypto stuff now which has like some more advanced stuff. I mean, there's no AES NI, but I don't think you need it for Bitcoin specifically. But maybe
Yeah.
there's some other enhancements that maybe if we can, maybe people have to look at some of the compilation stuff, and maybe they can
Yeah.
compile
I mean,
certain
there will
things
be a
faster.
native version, I think.
Yeah, I mean there is already a native version, right? You can compile to ARM, but maybe like the Apple ARM has some tricks up its sleeve,
Could be,
which
yeah.
needs to have some custom code. Hey, good car. How you doing?
So, I don't know. Right now, there's a problem with the Mac compiling.
Yeah, I'm very
Mac.
curious. I'm also curious how fast my old MacBook Pro is losing its value now, because the newer ones are so much faster. Even like the Air has apparently better benchmarks than the 16 Pro.
Whoa. Okay.
How's that seat?
Yeah, that's good. Okay, I muted everyone. Will, you don't know this, but this is the best part of every show, when you can mute everyone and then it's quiet and no one can talk. It's amazing. You can't do that on Twitter exactly. I mean, you can mute them in a way that you don't hear them, but then other people hear them. Here you can mute them and no one can hear them. It's amazing.
They can still throw
great.
things though, so
Well, I'm not sure. I mean, I can throw things at them. They can't really throw anything at me because they don't have anything to throw. So it's kind of, yeah, kind of unfair, but okay. So hello, everyone. I'm Udi Wertheimer. Just in case you don't recognize me, it is me. It's true. I guess I could get someone else to just pretend to be me. But no, it's me. It's me. And welcome to Reckless VR. We do VR meetups every weekend, every Saturday. Well, almost every weekend. I was kind of away for a couple of weeks, but from now on, we keep doing this every weekend. And you can actually join without a VR headset. So if you're watching this right now on YouTube, then you should know that you can, or on Twitter, then you should know that you can join on your PC and walk around here even without a VR headset. And if you're interested in that, you can go to recklessvr.com and sign up, or follow us on Twitter on recklessvr, and you'll get invites every week to the cool events that we have. Just in case you're interested in Bitcoin, I don't know, I guess maybe some people are not interested. Also, I want to say hello to, I think we have a few people from the Munich Bitcoin meetup here. So, hey, shout out to you guys. Thanks for joining. And yeah, well, today we have Will Reeves, who's the CEO of Fold. Hey, Will, welcome.
hey everybody, it's good to be here. Good to see you.
We know it's you because you're yellow.
I tried to give some slight hint, besides my awkward VR presence, but the yellow will do.
I mean, you look similar. You look similar to yourself, a bit. It's kind of you.
Okay.
But yeah, you're very, very yellow. I think kind of to start this off, maybe I'll ask you to tell us a bit about Fold, just in case, because Fold is only, as far as I know, it's only available in the US. So maybe some of the people here don't really know what it is. So maybe just tell us a bit about how it works.
Yeah, I mean, Fold, we created Fold to kind of open up another way to accumulate Bitcoin, to have kind of lower the barriers to entry. So remove the need to go onto an exchange, be subjected to the casino environment, limit KYC, and just give people a passive, easy way to earn Bitcoin on their spending. So we started off with an app that let you essentially buy gift cards at major retailers, either with Bitcoin of the Lightning Network or your own debit and credit card, and earn Bitcoin on all those purchases. And I think right now you can use this all across North America, US, Canada, Mexico. You can even use this in the UK, Hong Kong, and a few other countries. The problem is that we currently don't support local currencies besides USD. So we will get to you all soon. It was fun to be in Germany about 1 year ago at the Lightning Conference and see a bunch of Fold fans out there. So we'd like to expand quickly. And I think 2021 is going to be that year. So we just launched our Fold debit card today, in the last couple days, and that program we are very excited to get to Europe as soon as possible.
Awesome. That's cool. I'm optimistic. I hope. I might have used it a few times, even though I'm not supposed to. I'm not going to tell you how. Mags, can you hear us? Because you're on stage. Oops.
Oh.
And she's gone. Okay. That happens in VR. People fly on stage sometimes. But we're all good. It's fine. So I guess, one thing that I remember from a while ago, I think that Fold was, if I'm not wrong, Fold was around since like 2016, even sooner, even before, right?
Oh yeah, Fold has technically been around since I think 2014, 2015. And it's pretty amazing to see the evolution of the product, because it really reflects the changing narratives around Bitcoin itself overall. It started off as a way, so there's a bunch of people who have this new money called Bitcoin. They are trying to convince their friends and family that it's actual real money, but none of them believed it. Why? Because you couldn't spend it at for a cup of coffee. Back to, remember, 2014 narratives. And so, we built Fold to essentially allow you to spend your Bitcoin on chain at Starbucks, get a little bit of a discount, but more than anything, kind of have that moment with those around you, your friends, saying, hey, Bitcoin is real money. Someone is accepting it right here. Very clearly, then those narratives started to change. And we saw that high on-chain fees made no sense for small micropayments. The actual UX of spending Bitcoin was absolute garbage, and so we knew that it was never going to reach its kind of a use case of a retail payment. On layer one, it was always going to be on the second layer, and so we quickly turned and found our users were more interested in accumulating it. So, Fold started to evolve and create this idea of Bitcoin rewards. So you could spend your Bitcoin and earn your Bitcoin. And then from there, we added Lightning Network, debit cards, and it really has churned to the kind of accumulation narrative as our primary thing that people are interested in about us. But we're also extremely active in the Lightning Network community. I think we're one of the most well-connected nodes out there. So we're definitely still working on the UX of using Bitcoin in everyday life, but it's primarily centered around how do we get as many people Bitcoin as possible in the shortest amount of time.
Yeah, so that's really like this change, right? Because you can technically use Fold with Bitcoins that you already have, like to spend Bitcoins that you have, and then you can kind of, I guess, save money on gift cards that you buy, right? But also looks like over time you kind of repositioned this to people who will want to spend money, usually as always, like normally, and then get the Bitcoin rewards. Which is interesting. Like, you still can't do it, you still can't spend, but I guess that's not like the main focus, right?
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of to some extent, it's proof of Bitcoin's success as a store of value, right? We created the first version of the app that allowed you to spend it, specifically to give you that social moment, that ritual to say, hey, friends and family, Bitcoin is real money. Someone's accepting it. You should value it too. And the fact that we're now totally changed the product to be essentially spending your fiat and earning Bitcoin, and it's being widely adopted, means that Bitcoin is widely seen as money now. To some extent, that initial goal of making Bitcoin real for people has already happened, and it's succeeded wildly. And that's why we're seeing such massive demand for this new product that makes it easier for people to start accumulating it. Easier, whether you already have it, you want more, or you want an easy way to start, getting involved, starting to stack a little bit, watch the price action, and then from there maybe start, making a recurring buy or open up an account with an exchange. So I think it's a sign of Bitcoin's success how Fold has evolved.
Yeah, it is very interesting. Around like the 2014, 2015 era of Bitcoin companies, a lot of them were really focused on spending, and as things kind of changed and fees became more expensive and people were really interested in saving Bitcoin and not necessarily spending. Not everyone. I know a lot of people want to spend Bitcoin, but a lot of people seem to be interested in saving it. And then a lot of companies were kind of reluctant to accept this change. Some of them so reluctant they were interested in forking Bitcoin even. So it's really interesting how you guys went with the flow there and kind of.
Yeah, I mean, I have to say, Fold, because we've been around a while, we've had various characters that we all know through Bitcoin's history. One of which is someone who may have created a fork of Bitcoin and maybe still calls it a similar name as Bitcoin. And we were receiving heavy pressure saying, hey, Fold, you're actively working on payments. You're actively working on Bitcoin adoption. This fork is an obvious thing for you to start adopting. You should have, if your thing is about retail payments, you should definitely adopt this other fork of Bitcoin and move entirely there. And we clearly have resisted that urge because, again, it wasn't part of the mission that we were on. Our mission was not to force, the acceptance of retail payments of cryptocurrency. What it was is adoption and growth of it, to let it evolve, to see where it goes and to see where it becomes. And so, for us, it hasn't been easy. We've had to, look in the mirror and say, what, are we on the right side? It hasn't always been clear. And, for everyone, I think in this room, if you've been following, sometimes you find yourself confused. But I'm pretty impressed by how Fold as an organization, I think, has been able to navigate this last 10 years in a way with grace, but also finding the success along the way. I think we've been pretty good at that so far.
Yeah.
We still get requests to add the fork, by the way, always in my inbox.
Well, I'm sure you get requests to add other coins too, right? Probably.
Oh yeah. And hey, in the speaking of, as a Bitcoin company, especially operating since, around 2014, we see the bull markets and then the bear markets, and building in a bear market for a Bitcoin company with their primary reserve being Bitcoin can get very scary at some points. And I think a lot of the companies that you kind of alluded to earlier that may have lost their way for a while. I think a lot of them did it out of pure desperation to survive, and a lot of the money just happened to be in just adopting any fork or other cryptocurrency that approaches them with a big paycheck. And so there's definitely an urge and incentive to go that way. But I think clearly, I think it's already played out that that maybe wasn't the right way to go.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I think Fold does kind of stick out as I think one of the only companies I can think of that were consumer facing, payment facing, and choice. It didn't chase those geese. So that's really cool. So would you say that Fold today is more oriented to Bitcoin newcomers or like experienced Bitcoiners? Like who is this for?
When I see kind of the adoption of Fold, we have this kind of first circle, and that is people who already know about Bitcoin, already have Bitcoin. They look a lot like everyone in this room right here. And they're looking for any other way to accumulate more. Those people immediately love Fold. They understand it. They use it as just another way to increase their stack. And that community has been incredibly important to us. I think that's kind of what you'd call our early adopters, just hardcore fans. And that group, numbers in the tens of millions around the world. Now, the next group, which the first group is introducing us to the second group, which is those that know about Bitcoin, may have heard about it because you're all talking, their heads off at dinner or at a family outing or whatever, and they know about it, they're interested in it, but they don't have any themselves. They haven't gone through the KYC process or gone to an exchange, or, for a lot of them, just don't want to risk losing their hard-earned money on a volatile asset. And so Fold gives that group a very simple way to kind of dip their toe in a way that's supposed to be really fun. And that group is much larger than the first group. First group maybe 20 million or so, something around that. Second group is going to be closer to 80 million to 100 million. But the third group that Fold is really going after in the long run is, we're trying to essentially, we talk about Bitcoin obsoleting money, right? This, being the best money out there. And I think the lowest hanging fruit there is Bitcoin's going to obsolete all other points. I think it's just such an obvious, the point in reward industry is such an absolute racket. And Bitcoin provides a way, a very instantaneous way that outcompetes all other rewards. Number one, it generally appreciates in value. You can take actual control over it. The program itself cannot be devalued. Your Bitcoin one day can't be worth less the next. You're encouraged to withdraw it. You can use it on a purchase, just like cash. You can hoard it. You can bring it to cold storage. It's just an obvious no-brainer to start accumulating what is potentially the most compelling asymmetrical kind of financial bet you could make on and earn Bitcoin instead of your hotel point or airline mile that who knows if the airline's going to be around next month. So I think that third group is the hundreds of millions around the world who currently earn rewards points or in some way, and making the case that Bitcoin is a fundamentally better type of point will resonate with that audience, whether we call it Bitcoin or not. So I think that's kind of, I see the adoption curve. The first group who has Bitcoin knows about it. Second group doesn't have Bitcoin but understands it. And then the third group who's just looking for a better reward. I see Fold kind of gliding on that trajectory.
Right. And what do you think about, do you see users, especially those in the second and the third group, as preferring Bitcoin as rewards over, let's say just cash back rewards? I guess some businesses do that, like reward you with some form of just fiat cash. So do people seem to prefer Bitcoin over that?
Yeah, I think that is honestly, hotel points and airline miles are essentially a straw man a little bit, because they are such a debased scam system that it's a little unfair to compare that to. I think the better one is, why not just earn fiat rewards? And the answer is really simple, and all it takes is a couple months of earning Bitcoin rewards over fiat rewards. Our average users are now earning about 15% cash back on average on their purchases because of the appreciation of Bitcoin. So just right there, if you're someone there who's just cost conscious, wants to earn cash back, you stack you stack Bitcoin for 3 months, and you're going to look back and you're going to see you've actually, in real value, you've earned far more than what you would have gotten in fiat. So I think in that way, the number go up technology obsoletes the fiat alternatives.
Yeah, I mean, I'm gonna be difficult here, and as you know, I guess we all expect that at some point. I think a lot of people in this room is probably somewhat bullish right now, but we all probably expect that at some point we're gonna see price corrections, and just prices go down, and then you could imagine someone joining Fold in, let's say, 6 months from now or a year from now or whatever, and they just so happen to join at the top, which will happen. Eventually there will be a top, and so these people might actually end up losing value. So I don't know, did Fold kind of tackle this in one of the previous cycles already, or how do you think of approaching this kind of user who might be confused?
Yes, of why their points are going down. So the number go down technology part of the question.
Yeah.
Yeah. So in that scenario, there's that is a part and parcel of Bitcoin. Part of earning Fold is not just to say, hey, we're going to guarantee you giving you more money than you would earning any other reward. It's also about giving you an experience to understand Bitcoin, and part of that is corrections. And so for us, it's a lot about education, right? So if we position ourselves at the very top of the adoption funnel, trying to get brand new people in the door, we are in some cases responsible for kind of educating them down the funnel, also connecting them to other services, whether that's hardware wallets or some custodial, non-custodial Lightning. We have our users ask us about everything, and they find all types of things to do on their own that maybe aren't the best options. And so we consider it part of our responsibility, and I think a large piece of that is talking through the correction piece, is just showing, the great part about Bitcoin is now we have over 10 years of historical data to show, what it historically has done. And, you shouldn't be earning Bitcoin just because it's going to go up. You should also be about joining the project we're on, right? We're trying to have strong hands too, not, bring in strong hands to the community. So with that, definitely is going to take some education. I think the largest drop we've seen or correction was back in March, I think, when we saw that major correction. And I would say our users may, at that point, probably looking and say, well, I probably was earning maybe 2% cash back at that point. But that's still pretty good compared to the alternative. So we'll see how it goes. But I think that will be a challenge for us.
Yeah, I think it's a good point about the educating people about the fluctuating value, because it is kind of part of being in the Bitcoin economy, right? You kind of have to get used to it, and it seems to be something that just really stresses up like newcomers all the time. You join, you buy your first coins, your first sats, and then sometimes it just drops 5%, which for us is like, well, 5%, it's not even. Don't talk to me about 5%, but no one's used to 5% drops in a day. So yeah. So I think that is a good point about educating people about that.
But I actually now I'm thinking about it. The way our users talk about it is us as Bitcoiners, we have a really funny way of rationalizing everything. And actually, when I think back at where the community was back in March when that big drop happened, I think our user base was even more excited about the correction because they were able to stack more sats on any given purchase. Yeah. And so I think you could almost look at it as when number goes down, it's almost a point to kind of boost your sat stacking abilities. And I think that could be marketed in an okay way. So, hey, today you're getting double the amount of sats you normally would. So
that's true. I think that's a good direction to go with. Everything's good for Bitcoin, right?
Yes.
Yeah. I want to ask you about Lightning a bit, because you mentioned that that Fold is one of the biggest Lightning nodes. And so actually, what can you do with Lightning on Fold? I guess you can probably withdraw and deposit? Is that the...
So Fold right now. So our initial, going back, back in the history books for Fold, our initial thing was, how do we make spending Bitcoin as simple, incentivized, and fun as spending through your existing debit card or credit card. So we had to solve a couple things. Number one, transaction times were too long. Lightning fixes that. Number two, fees were too high. Lightning fixes that. The UX is actually better. We created a thing called Lightning Pizza that allowed you to order Domino's pizza across the United States via the Lightning Network, and our users went to Domino's more. They got through the checkout in half the time it took them to go through the normal checkout of a Domino's, and they were doing it in a pretty pseudonymous way, which was very cool. And so there are certain inherent advantages of Lightning, even in the retail payment context. And so the last remaining challenge was, how do we incentivize it? You pick out your credit card and they're going to give you 2% cash back for spending it. So with Lightning, we didn't have that. And so Fold tried to turn that on its head and actually give you cash back for shopping with Lightning, to then kind of bring parity between the two options. And right now, when you shop on Fold, you actually get more cash back if you use Lightning, because we have no exposure to fraud, which is just an absolutely insane issue with chargebacks. We have no processing fees from Stripe. We have no risk of being deplatformed, which is always a problem with being a Bitcoin company. So there are, when a Lightning payment comes through, that's my absolute favorite customer. That's my absolute favorite, money to accept, because it's safer. And Fold doesn't sell off any of that Bitcoin, by the way. We actually just then reroute that Bitcoin back out as rewards to everybody. So making sure we're actually maintaining this kind of circular economy there. But yeah, right now, I think, Lightning is probably represents maybe 10 to 15% of our total payment volume. So still fairly, pretty low. But when people use it and have it set up, there's so much great infrastructure out there, from wallets, from Breeze to Blue Wallet, Strike. Lightning is quickly becoming in the within the realm of, hey, my brother could use this and he has no interest in the stuff. So
yeah, I mean, to be honest, 10 to 15% is more than I expected.
It is recently become blown up. That number was closer to 2 to 5% maybe 3 months ago. So there's something afoot.
And do people, you can also use just mainnet layer 1 stuff.
Udi, I think, is your audio?
Or is it garbly?
Yeah, it's very low and garbly. Is that right, everybody? Yeah, looks like it.
Okay, so I'm gonna restart this quickly. It'll take me like 5 seconds. But for now, I'm gonna unmute everyone. And I'll be back in 10 seconds.
All right.
He has us
Udi's gonna
unmuted.
vanish.
Oh, there we go. Hey, everybody.
Hello.
Hey there.
Hey guys.
Hey.
Apologies
Bitcoin
for
for
the
the win.
intrusion.
Hey, Max. Max is back.
Yeah, Max.
Man, I was
Well,
having
is it any
so
better
many
now?
Problems.
Max.
Yeah, we can hear you
Yes,
now.
much better.
Nice. Okay. I'll just load up my thing here.
Mute us.
I will mute you in a moment. You can make like one last joke.
At your expense.
One last bad joke from the audience. Come on.
Have
Well,
fun
you're
staying
the
Nope.
poor.
host, so
How do
we
we know?
don't need one ad.
There we go.
Yeah, have fun staying poor. That's good. Okay. And that's it. Okay, we're back. So, I forgot what I was saying. I guess it was
We were talking about
the lightning
how-
usage, I think.
Yes, Lightning volume on Fold. So 6 months ago, it was about 2 to 3% of our volume. It's now about it's now reached up to 10%. And I think a lot of it has to do, number one, we always see more spending as you see gains. Fold's been around for a while, so there are, people who mine that use Bitcoin, and, Fold, instead of just selling their Bitcoin on the market, they go do some of their shopping with Fold so that they can at least earn Bitcoin cash back, and it's helps in that circular economy way. So I think maybe some could be from that. We also have just insanely better Lightning infrastructure. I mentioned Breeze, Blue Wallet, Strike, some of these other ones that just make using Lightning really easy. But also people really are responding to this idea of incentives. I think about adoption and things like this, and we're always like, how do we make Lightning easier to use? And Fold definitely thinks about that, but we also think about how do we give you more reasons to use it, and that's what we focus on, is primarily about creating the right incentives, not just the right user experience. And so we both are important, but I think sometimes when we focus on things like, hey, let's just make it as easy as possible to use, then everyone's going to use it. And that's not really the case. People respond to actual just real incentives. And what we're seeing with, offering, 4% back on Amazon via Lightning, or 2% with your credit or debit card, for a lot of people, that makes financial sense to adopt Lightning. And so then they go and do it. So maybe something in those is why it's happening.
Yeah. And you do allow depositing and withdrawing with just main base layer Bitcoin, right?
Yeah, so when you earn your Bitcoin rewards, you can withdraw to your own wallet, but on the base layer. And so we will be introducing Lightning withdrawals fairly soon. And we're also very excited to make use of the new Lightning Pool stuff to now help our users with liquidity, again, contribute more liquidity to the ecosystem. We have a bunch of users who are earning a lot of Bitcoin on the Lightning network. It's great if we can then lease out that liquidity for others to use, and then our users can enjoy actually earning proper yield on that, and not like some wild, DeFi sense, but actual, real non-custodial yield on that Bitcoin that they have in Lightning. So I think I'm really excited about that piece of it. Again, another thing that doesn't exist is an option in the kind of non-Bitcoin world. So I think that one is going to be a major breakthrough, both on UX adoption and just increasing the incentives for people to build on Lightning, people to use Lightning, all of it.
Yeah, the Lightning Pool stuff is pretty intriguing. Who knows? Maybe one day we'll discuss it on Reckless VR. Who knows? But it's cool because they keep having new stuff on Lightning. You can't keep up. It's really hard to keep up. Lightning keeps. It's amazing. And it's so different from just Bitcoin base layer protocol stuff, which is we still talk about Taproot, which was probably people probably started talking about that 3 to 4 years ago. Yeah. So it's really cool how it's just impossible to keep up sometimes. And what are the I do have I can imagine that you would say that probably Lightning pools might solve routing problem. Is that something that you have? Yeah, what are the issues that you found with Lightning with using with so many users?
So the primary issues for blocking kind of adoption and essentially selfishly our own market size in Lightning is liquidity issues. People having enough proper channels balanced, wallets doing some of it but not all of it, and the pool is really incentivized to solve that problem, to give anybody liquidity regardless of if they have that capital themselves. They can tap into it, immediately have a wallet with inbound and outbound capacity immediately that is in well-connected channels, and incentivizing you to keep your Bitcoin on Lightning, which is not, which is something that hasn't always been, necessarily recommended, because it's, the whole reckless thing. It's new. And so I think Pool is going to do a lot to, number one, solve a extremely core user experience problem of the channel capacity and inbound and outbound liquidity problems, but also incentivizing, just giving a network an incentive to kind of build on itself more and more. With Fold, now we actually have a reason to keep a lot more Bitcoin and Lightning. For most part, we will do a swap out of Lightning so that we can hold all our Bitcoin on chain because it's safer. That's our primary reserve asset as a company. So we need to make sure that that is not at risk. And now Lightning Pool starts to change that calculus a little bit, and we'll definitely be leaving more and more Bitcoin in Lightning Network, which means that will grow, liquidity will increase, products will get better, and you can start to see it kind of just compound on itself just from tweaking the incentive structure.
Yeah, and other than that liquidity issue, which is, I think it's probably the biggest issue that people are dealing with on Lightning, is there anything else that users, pop up as a problem that happens to them with Lightnings, or is that the main thing?
No, I mean that's one. The other is actually just getting their Bitcoin onto Lightning. It's expensive. You have to actually get it onto Lightning. There's some great services out there, some that I mentioned earlier, that help you make it less expensive. But now again, the ability for individuals to earn a little bit of yield on that will start to change the calculus of how they think about it. And then I think it will just make a more robust. I think there'll be more things built on it. So again, I was saying earlier, it's important to build things that are maybe easy to use and simple to onboard into. But again, we need more incentives and reasons to be in Lightning at all anyway. And so I think this pool is going to open up a lot more business models and welcome a lot more interesting use cases. Where I think we're seeing a lot of that. It's been great to see the stuff going on at Sphinx to. I think there was one, someone's going to fork Firefox and do a new Brave browser, but all in Lightning. We have just a lot of great LN markets, trading. It's all, I think, going to move there. And the more incentives we create, the more activity is going to happen.
It is growing really quickly, which is really awesome to see. You are very involved with kind of the more traditional finance side of things too, because you're dealing with payments on that end as well. And I'm wondering, in your view, do you expect that merchants online or offline will start to implement native Lightning payments or Bitcoin payments? Is that something that you think that is going to increase, or maybe it's going to be more just stick with those kind of bridging services like Fold? How do you see that rolling out in the future?
It's been really interesting because again we've been doing this for a while. Fold's been a couple different things over time, and we've been able to talk to the same merchants over time to see how they've been evolving and their ideas and their response to our changing business model. I do not see major retail payments for large major retailers happening anytime soon. And however, I do see Lightning and Bitcoin rewards happening very soon. That will happen much faster than the other options. Now, Fold is also going to, underneath the hood, we've built Fold to not only provide Bitcoin rewards on our platform, but it's also extensible. It's an API that any wallet could plug into, start streaming micro rewards to their users. They can tag various things in their apps to trigger these things. So, we have a daily spin wheel. They can do opens. They can have referrals. All of it can be powered with streaming by micro Bitcoin payments. And that merchant can call it Bitcoin, or they can just call it, super points that have number go up inside. And so I think we're definitely going to see rewards happen before payments. And my general approach and thought about this whole circular economy, store of value versus medium of exchange stuff is that the key to unlocking Bitcoin as a medium of exchange is having more merchants value Bitcoin as a store of value so that they want to accept it. And that's not going to be a larger corporation at first. They're going to do just buy Bitcoin on the open market, just like we've seen with Square and MicroStrategy. But for smaller merchants that want to start accepting, better money, that is who is going to kickstart the circular economy. In my opinion, a larger groundswell of smaller merchants who just want to have a cheap way to accumulate Bitcoin. And so I think we'll see a lot more there. So that's why I'm very bullish on OpenNode and BTC Pay server, because I think those systems are going to be the ones that are going to be powering this, and it probably won't be an Amazon or a large big box retailer. It's going to be the mom and pop merchants who are going to be leading that charge in terms of payments. But I think the larger ones are going to get onto rewards very, very quickly.
That's really interesting. Accepting payments in Bitcoin, not because you want to serve more customers necessarily, but just because it's a cheaper way for you to accumulate Bitcoin, which is something more and more people want to do. Which kind of brings me to, the way to accumulate Bitcoin, maybe as a merchant in the future, but even right now as a spender, is I guess just as a normal buyer of Bitcoin, usually most people are going to have to go to an exchange and do the whole KYC process. And it might be more expensive sometimes. It's also, there's a lot of loss of privacy there. What does it look like when you're using Fold? I don't actually know myself because I couldn't use it, but what kind of details do you need to give Fold to sign up and start earning sats?
Well, we have for Lightning users, you can actually, all you need is your own Lightning wallet. So not using Fold, and you need our app. And with that sign up process, you can either just go through and have kind of a pseudonymous, anonymous account that you can just kind of go through and start using and making Lightning payments immediately. And that can happen within 2 minutes. You can also give your email there and unlock other features like our spin wheel and things like that. But we really try to preserve, when we're working with new partners who are in the legacy financial system, it's extremely highly regulated. There's a way that we have to do things. But we also try to, as much as we can, to preserve this happy path for Bitcoiners who want to use Bitcoin in its pure form as it was intended to be. And so that's why we support Lightning. That's why we support extremely limited KYC payments for our Lightning users, which, if you're using your credit card, you're given a lot more information. Obviously, you've already done that because you've signed up for that credit card. And we have that side of the house. And so it's important to us to have different options for our different types of users who are looking for who are privileging different variables in their head versus privacy versus ease of use versus a good deal versus speed, all those things.
Yeah. So you have those kind of levels. And I guess even if you're using a credit card, you don't necessarily have to give I don't know, the usual KYC stuff that people would ask you at an exchange. Yeah. So it's still easier.
Yes, definitely. To use the Fold's core product, there's no KYC. Now there is KYC with our new debit card because you're getting a full banking account, your routing number, account number, and so with that comes certain obligations. But with our gift card product, it really is extremely light, and that's what it was intended to be. That you could, at your Thanksgiving dinner or your next family gathering, you orange pill a couple family members on Bitcoin, and then you say download Fold, and within 5 minutes they all have some Bitcoin. That's kind of the idea of what we wanted to do with Fold. That's awesome.
So, well, you mentioned the Fold card. So how about you tell us a bit about that? Like, what's the Fold card?
So we built this product to earn Bitcoin on your everyday spending. We did it, kind of hacked it together with this product that combines, debit card, credit card rails, allowed you to buy gift cards, then you earn Bitcoin. That turned out to be something that a ton of people want. And so we had incredible use from that. Very strong volume, grows, 20% every month, and shows really no sign of stopping. And so we knew we were onto something, and we partnered up with Visa to essentially bring a product that allows this earning idea to happen at all parts of your life, spending your money at a retailer, to sending an ACH payment for your mortgage, to really whatever, that everything, every spend or saving of money that you're doing with your fiat is going to earn you Bitcoin. So your interest is going to be in Bitcoin, your cash back is going to be in Bitcoin. It's essentially a bank that just rewards you in Bitcoin instead of your fiat. So this was an idea that both Visa was very interested in. When we were talking earlier about getting legacy players involved in Bitcoin, payments is one thing, but rewards is just opened up this really great opportunity for us to work with larger incumbents or legacy partners that look at rewards as a really easy way to dip their toe into the space. And so they quickly jumped on, and I have to say Visa is extremely advanced in their understanding of Bitcoin, their knowledge of it, and their proactive learning about it. It's been pretty incredible to watch them from the inside. And so we announced this product. 100,000 people signed up on this wait list. They were blown away. We were blown away. And I was expecting maybe 15 to 20,000. And that's growing. And so we saw that there's incredible demand even for this product. I think COVID accelerated it with this idea of no one's flying and using those hotel points or airline miles, and the economic turbulence around the world and chaos that we see. Again, centers Bitcoin. So there's a lot of things that are kind of our tailwinds here. But this card will act as your bank account for yourself. Account number, routing number. You can swipe it in store, use Apple Pay, Google Pay, and every time you spend, you're going to earn Bitcoin. And you're going to also earn Bitcoin on, how much you're saving every month. You can round up your change into Bitcoin. We really created this card to be just a sat stacking machine for everyday people who are, just interested in getting involved.
That's awesome. So it's kind of the opposite of, if I'm understanding it correctly, it's kind of the opposite of things like, the Coinbase card and a few of those that you put Bitcoin in, you're spending them, and then they're gone. Here you're going to spend fiat, and you're going to get rewards in Bitcoin. So that's very different, actually. To me, it makes a ton of sense because some people will get mad at me for saying it, but I don't want to spend Bitcoins. So for me, it makes a ton of sense. I do buy stuff sometimes. So
I get it. I'm of both minds. I personally, I definitely have and do spend Bitcoin, but I understand where the narrative is and where the world is at in terms of their understanding of Bitcoin right now. And that is definitely not as a medium of exchange right now. We're working on that. I think a lot of people in this room are making that easier and forwarding that narrative. But it's all very, very clear that Bitcoin right now is acting as primarily as this kind of store value accumulation use case. And so for us, when we see, companies like Bitcoin or Coinbase release their card, it's a really clear example of how products are, or how new products are defined by the company's existing incentives. And Coinbase's entire business model is getting you to make as many trades with as many coins as you can possibly do. And this is why spending is really interesting to them, because essentially every spend is a trade. Every time these are hitting with massive fees in between. And so they love the spending narrative from that perspective, because it opens up what is their underlying existing very successful business model of earning on every trade. But when you look at Fold, we understand that could be, of course it's profitable to take a 3% rake on every transaction. But for Fold, we aren't beholden to a massive business model that we need to protect. And we really, what I feel like is that every time we've seen one of these new kind of Coinbase or other cards launch, to me, it's a sigh of relief, because I think as we are moving in the right direction, partly because I see them going that way, but also I think the insane amount of demand that this card has gotten from a group of 7 people who are on the Fold team with 0 paid marketing and just word of mouth is, I think, demonstrating very clearly in the market that this is the product that people want, not the product that is essentially designed for Coinbase's underlying business model of trading. So I think it's us being just really clear about where the world's at and what users want.
Yeah, I think that makes a lot of sense. And you mentioned interest on these accounts, on those card accounts. How does that work?
So we have seen with Fold that a lot of our users are actively, using, other ways to earn yield on their Bitcoin, whether that's Celsius or BlockFi or whatever it is. This was a feature really demanded by our user base, and so we've created a program with our Fold card that all the Bitcoin that is in your account will be subject to yield. You'll get 10% yield on it. And the way that works is because Fold has a lot of Bitcoin under management, right? Where our users are gift card users, Lightning users, Fold card users. And a portion of that Bitcoin that we have partnered up with a few desks that will help us power this lending and trading aspect so that we can earn yield for a subset of our users. And so we're taking this as essentially as a small rollout to see for a small segment of our user base to see how that goes. But primarily it's to give users something that they've been asking us for, and so we're going to start small. We'll see if it continues to be something that they want, but really I think there's really no better area to test interest on Bitcoin than in a rewards capacity, right? The stakes are much lower. You're not sending off your large Bitcoin stack over to a company that hopefully is still around. This is much lower stakes. It allows people to augment their earnings, but also Fold at the end of the day will be very clear about the risk involved in that, and we'll educate our user base about that, and we will always let you withdraw to your own personal wallet when it makes sense for you. So we're trying, again, it's Fold trying to navigate the changing narratives and evolution of Bitcoin in the world, and this is definitely representative of one of these kind of new experiments we're running.
So just to get it straight, the interest that you earn is on your fiat balance or on your Bitcoin balance or both?
So, so right now it is on your Bitcoin balance that you have in your rewards. So your Bitcoin balance will earn 10% yield over that year. Now, Fold will and is down the roadmap will have savings accounts as well that you'll earn it on your USD, but the interest will be paid out in Bitcoin. So we will have both. Again, we're trying to if you really just look at the legacy system and your legacy services that you have, whether you're earning cash back or interest or whatever it may be, all of that, those rewards, that interest will all be in Bitcoin, even if your underlying money that you're holding in your account may be US dollars.
So 10% sounds like a lot. Like, how do you? I guess you kind of mentioned that you're going to do this just for a fraction of users and leverage the larger stack of Bitcoin that Fold holds to enable that. Is that so? Is it kind of a subsidy thing going on there? Like, how do you get to 10%? That's a lot.
Yeah. So we again have partnered with some partners that, number one, we have transparency that we admire. They have a good track record, and they bring really competitive yield. But the benefit of why Fold is because Fold's not offering this to all of our user base. So users that are in our premium and our card program are going to get the benefit of the much wider interest yield across all of our holdings, and so that will boost their particular Bitcoin holdings.
Right. Yeah, that makes sense. So how does one get this card?
Well, I know this is a very international audience here, so it's going to be a couple different ways, but it all starts with the wait list. So, we have foldapp.com. You can see the card site. You can see all the details are now up there about how the card works. So would love to hear any feedback on that. But just get on the wait list, and whether you're in the United States, we will get to you. I believe I'm intending this year, no matter what, even if you're number 120,000 on the list, I think we're going to move pretty fast. But if you happen to not be in the United States, you will be the first to get it when we move to your country. We're primarily focused on Canada, Mexico, and the UK initially. But from there, we will be expanding. And our gift card product should be expanding much more quickly next year to a much wider area than the ones I just mentioned. Did we lose him again? Yeah.
Wrecked again.
Oh. Udi went out, and we have our voice back.
Free
We're in
again.
control.
What happened?
If anyone needs an invite, I can hook you up.
Woo! How about now?
Udi wants me playing with his toys under his desk here.
Did you play with my stuff?
I may have.
Unbelievable. You live for 2 seconds. That's what happens. Well, okay. I'm gonna mute everyone again. But yeah, I was just saying that I'm gonna keep having fun staying poor without the fold card, because I'm not in any location that's gonna let me have one. But that's life. That's life. It's life out of the States.
I will say this though, on the fold card, if you are building I'll open this up to any Bitcoin product, but if you're building a cashback product with Bitcoin in a country that doesn't have support, or no one's built one there, or a card program, I am 100% happy to help in any way that I can. Fold is not able to move as fast as we can internationally, and so I think it's important to have these services accessible around the world. And so if you have a project, you've been thinking about it, I'm more than happy to connect and give you my understanding of how it works, the challenges, and maybe help you get it in your country faster than Fold getting there.
That's awesome. I hope people pick this up. It's a good tip. And I think I'm gonna open this to questions now. So the way this works is, if you're just new here, then you're gonna see on the bottom right corner of the screen, you're gonna see a button that says raise hand. So you can click that, and then I see that you raised your hand, and I can let you ask your question. So it's the bottom right corner of the screen, raise hand button, and let's start with hero protagonist. Go ahead.
Hi there. Just a very quick question. I'm a Canadian. I signed up during your presentation here. I see that there's a very small handful of offers for Canadians. Do you see an opportunity? Do you see that it's going to catch up to the American side, or is it just a very fringe market for us right now?
No, well, the Canada will be our first major expansion zone, and I'm happy to report we already have a major catalog of Canadian offerings ready to go, including Amazon, including some of the other big ones that you see on the American side. It has been purely about, number one, bandwidth. We're 7 people on our team, so we really just are like, we're going to focus on this one thing. It was gift card product, rewards, Lightning, debit card, and then back to brand expansion. And so when that happens, we will be able to move a lot faster. The good news is that we already have the partnerships. It's the things that are stopping me right now are bank accounts in local currencies. So to support Canadian dollar, to support pound, all of these require us to open up new bank accounts. And as a Bitcoin company, we already have enough problem keeping our own bank accounts and our own Bitcoin custody. All of that complicates our picture for partners who maybe are more conservative. And so that's what really the blocker is. But the good news is we already have the partnerships. We already have all the retailers. And it's I think it's roughly matches the catalog that you see on the American side right now. So Canada will get some love very soon.
Tremendous. Thank you.
Sweet. Thanks, Hero. Next question is from Abstracts. Go on. Wait, I didn't click. Sorry. No, you should give me
Thank you. Yeah, my first time here. Really cool event, and thank you for this. I was wondering, it was more in regards to Visa, since you said you knew a bit from the inside. I was wondering, in a hypothetical situation, say there is all of a sudden there is rapid inflation, for example. Do you think Visa would be ready to sort of flip a switch to start using Bitcoin in, for example, cooperation with banks or whatever, so that sort of everybody could migrate to Bitcoin pretty fast?
I would like to say yes. I would say from I don't know if they have some secret lab with more than I've seen, but I would say I don't think even Bitcoin would be ready for that. Especially on any layer 2 solution right now to handle that load. But if we're talking hyper Bitcoinization in 10 years or something there along that time horizon, I think absolutely the infrastructure will be there, and I don't even think it would really necessarily have to rely on Visa rolling it out. Besides, it would definitely give it more legitimacy and more reach. But I'm confident that open source solutions combined with really great builders creating out-of-the-box UX to spin them up for a given merchant to start accepting Bitcoin payments it would come from there, not Visa. But I think I know that Visa's working on a lot of things, from stable coins to a lot of things in digital currency. So I know that it's there, but I don't think it could support hyper Bitcoinization right off the bat.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. Thank you very much.
Thanks. That's a good question. It's about low time preference, I guess, with payments. Well, when the demand is there, I guess they'll make it. Okay. So next question from Mags. Go ahead, Mags.
Yeah, I just had a question. In terms of the biggest regulatory barriers, has it been? I'm assuming it's kind of a closed loop system you're working in. Is it mostly, complying with AML regs and money service business types of things, or does it get really complicated once you start flipping virtual currencies for fiat?
Yeah, I think those are the ones you mentioned, AML, KYC, money service businesses. Are we not? That's like that's the first boss that you have to get past. And you have to make some pretty clear design decisions in what our business does and doesn't do upfront to make sure that you have a good regulatory path forward. And that's an important piece. But for the most part, a lot of that is it's a known issue a little bit. The stuff now that we think about is mostly just compliance with our partners. We work with a lot of major players in the in traditional payments industry that have reputations to keep up, and we are the Bitcoin upstart that they are chosen to work with. And so we need to make sure that we hold up our end of the deal and be a good partner there. And so we always are trying to, number one, introduce what Bitcoin offers and our new ideals, while also balancing the needs that they have from us. But the things I'm more thinking about are like existential issues, are things like the travel rule and FATF, things like that, which are very quickly, and you can start to see some of the documentation coming out, some of the memos coming out that there are it's the spectrum of what could happen, but definitely the scary end of that spectrum seems to be more and more possible and spoken about, and it seems like it's going to happen at the same point of these digital currencies that are rolling out that essentially will have travel rule baked into their infrastructure and how they work. And so I think at that same time, we are going to see some kind of action to restrict, Bitcoin in that way. Now, what that does to Bitcoin, who knows? But you can definitely know that there's movement afoot, and we should be prepared for a couple outcomes there. Some of which may not be exactly what we wanted.
Yeah, the $250 is concerning, and then on top of that, getting all the players together to be able to communicate as per travel requirements. It's going to be a tough but interesting road. Yeah.
Yeah, but look at the regulatory capture there. Look at who is perfectly positioned to say, "Oh, well, that's a great idea. We would love to comply with that." And guess what? We are the best positioned to do that. And that's the major exchanges that, for to some extent, haven't necessarily proven themselves to be the best ally of Bitcoin, and now they'll be writing regulations and be in the best regulatory position to benefit off of that. And so that's what we got to watch out for.
Thanks.
Thanks, Mags. Let's see. Next question is from Waxwing.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yep.
Can you hear me? Yeah. Hi. So, I had like three kind of mini questions, really. The first one's the smallest of all is, what denomination do you use? Are you using Satoshis? The second question I had was about Bitrefill, because that's a similar kind of company that I've used in Europe, and I just wanted, maybe you could give a quick summary of what you see as the differences and similarities between the two businesses. And the third question was, when you first started accepting Lightning payments, I'm wondering, how did you address concretely the issue of inbound liquidity? I'm just curious how you specifically addressed it. Thanks.
Yeah. So first thing, when you open Fold, I think like on our website descriptions and things like, we say Bitcoin, but in the experience itself, it's Satoshis all the way down. Everything is in sats. We only talk about sats. We definitely made a conscious decision to, go all in on sats the standard and really make that happen. I think it really works with the product we're making about rewards, and I think Satoshis, 100,000 Satoshis, 1 million Satoshis, sounds really fun and good too. And so I think it's a standard that works for us, and I think we are been actively pushing for a while. So Satoshis all the way. For Bitrefill, little known fact, we started in the same basement office together in San Mateo, California. So Sergey is a good friend, and I think the whole Bitrefill team is awesome, and I think that they provide one of the most compelling services in Bitcoin, which is pretty much wherever you are in the world, you can live off your own Bitcoin, and that's a service that pretty much they offer better than anyone else does, and I think provides really valuable usable service to people all around the world today, and gives real value. So I think that the team is great there. Now we're very different, right? Fold is Bitcoin only. Bitrefill supports a suite of currencies. Bitrefill, you only use cryptocurrency to spend, whereas Fold, you can either use your fiat or you can use your Bitcoin. And so Fold really bridges this gap, or bridges the kind of circular economy with the outside payment rails, whereas Bitrefill primarily is creating really strong circular economy. And so it's a slightly different approach. We have very different users, Sometimes they overlap, which is good. And we frequently, when you can't use Fold somewhere, we're always there to recommend to use Bitrefill. And they have a really great and varied merchant stack with a lot of great partners. And so I just think we're tackling different problems for different users. But I would say I think they're by far one of my favorite services in the space out there with Fold. And then you had one more question. The other question was Lightning liquidity.
Yeah, liquidity. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So Fold's interesting because to some extent we're not the best Lightning participant right now because we're one way, right? If you have a wallet, you're only spending to Fold. Fold is not then returning the favor with allowing you to withdraw back to that wallet to maintain balanced channels. And so Fold has always been extremely connected because we have a bunch of these wallets all pointed towards and routing payments to us. Now we're not going back the other way. So our problem is we have too much liquidity on our side.
Oh dear.
Oh no. Well, not sure what happened there.
His channel was unbalanced. Yeah.
Yeah. Maybe his battery ran out. That's an option.
Yeah.
Yeah.
His
hands came back.
Oh my god.
Will, are you back? Is that the ghost of Will?
That was a wild portal I just dropped into. I am back, everybody.
What happened there?
I don't even know. A lot of colors, a lot of damn. That was like the 2001 Space Odyssey scene, right where he hits the event horizon. Do I still have arms? Yeah.
Yeah.
Only one.
Yeah.
Cool. Only one. Damn it. I lost it.
I can see the other one.
Oh, yeah.
Well, that was fun. So, Lightning liquidity. Fold, not a great participant. We're only one way. People are only spending to us. We're not really pushing back out, which is something we'll be changing with withdrawals. So, we have been very connected because of that. A lot of people want to use it, so everyone's pointed at us. So our problem has been we use loop out quite a bit to constantly cycle our Bitcoin out into base chain. So we actually love that service from LND. We use it all the time.
May I interrupt you a minute? Because you've expressed that, and I understand what you're saying, but in a way, it's not quite what I expected to hear. Because suppose you have like 100 customers, and they're all paying into you, and not vice versa. So generally, we perceive that as a problem. That's an inbound liquidity problem, because generally customers will not open channels directly to you. So you need other channels opened towards you with sufficient capacity. So that's generally called the inbound liquidity problem that any merchant faces. But it's curious that you expressed it as like, oh, we're sort of bad participants, but it's easy for us. But usually people say that's a difficult thing because you need other people to participate in the network to get open channels towards you.
So So we've gotten really good at knowing which. So we were doing what's the big guy, LN Big, for a while. LN Big was routing nearly every single payment to Fold for a long time, and we told our users, do not connect to Fold. We, again, small team, we're still learning this. Don't connect to Fold's channel. We actually have a fairly high threshold that we set. I don't remember exactly where it's at right now, but it's not nothing. So you have to be really serious about connecting to Fold. But once you are, you're connected everywhere. But for the most part, we were telling everyone to go to LN Big. And what I mean by being a bad participant is that all these folks. Oh no, am I here still?
Yeah, you're here.
Oh wow. Okay.
Yep.
Almost happened again. So all these people building great wallets, and they are constantly being drained out as payments are going to Fold. And so we have to consistently make larger and larger and larger channels sizes with them. Also, we'll run a promotion, and we'll do it on a Friday. And as all these wallet developers are going home for the weekend, we run a major promotion, and all of a sudden they're out of liquidity for the entire weekend, and nothing works for any of their customers. And so that's where I'm saying we're a bad, because we're not kind of sending it back into the ecosystem from there. We're always looping out. So again, people are always like, oh, the size of the Lightning Network is not growing that much. Well, a lot of it is because it's in there, and then we loop it out, and then it's on chain. We don't keep it in the Lightning Network. So I'm looking forward to changing that, and that's where we'll start to see Lightning build. But did I answer that question okay? Or
no, that makes perfect sense. That's actually very interesting, the LN bigger element, because I know with Bitrefill they ended up being kind of a hub themselves as well. They're very, very strongly connected. But yeah, I see what you mean about bad participant. Not bad participant literally, of course, but in the sense that it would be really nice if you could keep the balance flowing both ways, so you didn't have to constantly loop out. And yeah, I get it. Thanks. That's interesting. Thank you.
Yeah.
Awesome. Thanks, Waxwing. Look, Will, there are a few more questions. People are really interested in asking you questions. I don't know if you have the time. I'm also not sure if your battery's alive. You say bring it. Looks like you're saying bring it.
Let's do it.
I'm going to bring it on. Okay, next question from Kemal. Did I click it? I'm trying to aim. Go ahead.
Yeah, I think you got it. I have a question. How does it work for Bitcoin merchants to become a merchant where the users can earn via Fold sats back? And the second question is, how do you see the Strike Lightning, which crosses the bridge from fiat to Bitcoin Lightning elegantly? How do you see it in the ecosystem? And yeah, that's.
So we have with Fold, we have Fold app, Fold card, but underneath it is what we have, the Fold rewards platform or Fold API. This essentially allows anybody to create a Bitcoin rewards program, plug that into their experience, and so from there you contacted us. We're just doing it with a small rollout with a few partners, and these partners will both be those like in the ecosystem, Bitcoin wallets, things like that, but it'll also be outside, other fintechs that want to start offering Bitcoin as a part of their reward. And the way it works there is that you essentially lock up some Bitcoin with us. You have some kind of balance and some multi-sig setup. You determine how much you would like to be streaming rewards to your users and for doing what. So for opening the app once a day, for making a purchase, for topping up, for buying Bitcoin, for making a referral, to connecting a payment method, really whatever it is, you can tag that. You say how much that's worth to you, and then we will just take care of streaming those rewards directly either to a Fold wallet that you can essentially host on your experience, or your own wallet. We'll send it right to their own, Lightning, their Lightning wallet. And so it's pretty early for it, but we are. This really is about Fold's initial thing about getting as Bitcoin into the hands of as many people as possible in the shortest amount of time. This platform play, our API, is going to really allow us to expand Bitcoin rewards to pretty much any program, whether it's an existing credit card, digital wallet, even just a website experience, things like that. So we'll be actually sharing more information as at the end of the year with some of our first partners on that. What was the second half of that question?
Kemal, you muted, so I'll need you to click the raise hand button again, so I can let you ask the second question. Yes.
What are the legal requirements for a business or for a merchant to get into Fold, and what do you think about Strike, the fiat to Lightning app?
Yeah, so we have there's really no legal requirements. We set up a business, contract with each other about, what the terms are, but you don't have to be a money transmitter, anything like that. So it's all basically you get access to all the regulatory work that Fold has done and technology that we've built. So you can focus on just building whatever product you do, focus on that, and the rewards kind of are just something that you can manage through Fold's portal. So it's pretty easy as a merchant to get set up. If you're just a merchant who offers gift cards, you just send me an email and we'll get you set up fairly quickly. And there's really very little you have to do on your end. That was part of how we designed Fold, is how can we onboard merchants for payments and rewards without changing any hardware, software, or new training for their employees. So it should be pretty easy setup. On Strike, I think Strike is a really great kind of leap forward in terms of user experience and challenging how we think about legacy system and Lightning. And I think it has provided, I know for a lot of Fold users, it's unlocked their ability to spend fiat but get access to our Bitcoin rates, which of course are really great. They love, and Fold loves it because we're a merchant who loves receiving Bitcoin payments. What Udi and I were talking about earlier, of we need more of a groundswell of merchants who value Bitcoin more than US dollars and want to receive that. And that's what's going to kickstart the circular economy, even if that means the user is actually spending US dollars and we're just settling in Bitcoin. So I think services like that, Strike has made something like that. OpenNode is making that. I think there are a lot of other merchants. I think even Coinbase is working on something like that. Not with Lightning though. And so I really think it makes interacting with Lightning a lot easier. Now, again, what is the incentive for using and spending your fiat to fulfill a Lightning invoice, right? So it's not an unsensible payment you need, because you're spending your fiat. Strike or OpenNode can get shut down on the fiat side, so it's not an unsensible payment. So it's not necessarily working for industries that may not be able to accept USD, right? So for sex workers, gambling, or cannabis industry, you still can shut down the fiat side. So it's not really solving a problem for an unsensible payment. Probably proper Lightning payments are still better for that. But what I really like is that, more than anything about Strike, is that it is the perfect on-ramp into Lightning. So instead of, you can also think of Strike as an exchange, essentially, right? On an exchange with Coinbase, you set up your debit card account or connect your bank account and you buy Bitcoin. The only difference is that on Coinbase, it goes into a Bitcoin wallet, versus Strike, it goes to whatever Lightning wallet you want. And so I really love the ability of people stacking sats natively in Lightning. I really like that concept. I like the DCA potential, a sat a second you can be dealing with. And so I really like that aspect of how it's such a Lightning native service. It gets people directly into Lightning with extremely low friction, allows them to accumulate and spend from the same product. I think that's great. I think the spending side needs work, because Fold is one of the main merchants that anyone's spending Bitcoin on. Refill's another good one. There's some other merchants, but we still need more reasons to be using Lightning or to be spending Lightning. And so I think right now my favorite thing to use Strike for is stacking sats and just buying Bitcoin natively on Lightning.
Sweet. Stacking 1 sat per second. I like that. I don't know how many seconds will I need for well, I know how many seconds I'll need, but how many days is 100 million seconds?
I know someone in this audience could probably already got that in their head.
Probably. Okay, we're gonna take 2 more questions and then we'll wrap it up. Let's see. Next one is from Rusty.
Cool. Okay, can you hear me?
Yep.
Great. So yeah, from the Lightning devs, what can we do to help? What do you need?
Well, that's a good question. I think one of Fold's biggest secret weapons in terms of moving pretty fast with Lightning and do it while also doing it right has been the Lightning community itself. Whether it's from folks at LND Labs or even just in the community, the telegrams and slacks of people building on Lightning is incredible. How much shared knowledge, fast responses, troubleshooting, even from services that are essentially competing. I've talked to some here about today, like from Bitrefill to Strike. At some point you could consider them competitive, but Fold, we do not think about that like that. The whole space is too young. There is no market to be too competitive about right now. We're all here to actually legitimize this and grow it, and we can worry about competition later. And so one of the things I love about working in this ecosystem now is how, even though in this competitive environment it's collaborative, we are sharing what could be proprietary or things that you might not want to share with everybody. People are willing to really help out and do it to grow the ecosystem. I think that makes the development on Lightning so much faster than than in other places. And so for devs, I think we need to see more, I think BTC Pay project contributing to those open source projects is probably the best thing to do right now. And Fold is actively trying to figure out a way. We built everything on our own. We rolled our whole own processing system, essentially like our own Fold BTC Pay. There should be a world where Fold is openly contributing to that open source. And we've done that in the past. We have done some contributions there, but we would like to be far more active, that when Fold builds something, it's also available to everyone else. And I think BTC Pay is the perfect platform for that to happen on. How do we change that out and really, figure out the right mint is a question that we're trying to solve right now. But as Fold will be growing very quickly, and our Lightning team will not just be one person or two people, it will be 6, 7 people, and then I hope to actually be able to make a larger move like that. But I would say for Lightning devs in this space, continue wildly experimenting. Number one, it makes us all excited about what's going on, but also contributing to these open source projects that I know that we're going to benefit from, but also hopefully join you very quickly in the contribution.
Cool.
And use Fold. Let us know it doesn't work. Yeah.
Oh, when Australia?
Australia is like Canada, and that's ready to go. We do not have banking set up, and first half of 2021. It depends on when they let us open a bank account.
Good luck.
Awesome. Okay, thanks. And let's see. Who's next? Okay, we have Michael. Michael, go on.
Yeah, actually, there are questions on YouTube. Are US persons going to be eligible for accounts, i.e. LLCs, corps, and trusts, or only individual names only? And what about US citizens living in Germany or abroad?
So we will have our corporate card program is in the roadmap. We know that is a very important piece. We talk about all these companies, making an allocation in their treasury, but since launching this card and announcing it back, in April or so, we have had an absolute influx of all Bitcoin companies, or even, our, investors there who wants to move all of their spending to earn sats. And we know that's a big opportunity. So we're working on that. I hope to have that next year. But right now it is individuals only. And then as for, what was the other thing you asked? It was U.S. citizens abroad. You should have no problem using it. And the Fold card is accepted at all 61 million Visa merchants worldwide. So if you're a U.S. citizen, you shouldn't have an issue getting the card. And if you do, reach out, because you should be able to get it.
Fair enough. Fair enough. Maybe I can pretend to be a U.S. citizen. I'll test your fraud detection systems.
We could use all the help. That's yeah.
Yeah. Okay. That's it. Thanks, Michael, for the question. That's the questions we have. Will, thank you for joining us. This was awesome.
Thank you. This was very
I had
fun.
a ton of fun.
Yeah, this was. Thank you for reverting back to your old studio setting for me because of my outdated technology, but I had a lot of fun.
You're
Thank you all for
spoiling it.
coming.
No one needs to know. No one needs to know. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, but this was really awesome. So thank you, and thanks Andrew for helping behind the scenes. And yeah, everyone watching this on Twitter or YouTube or whatever, you should know that we do those every week. Same to everyone who's new and here for the first time. So we do this every weekend, every Saturday, same time. You can go to recklessvr.com and sign up with your email or whatever, and you'll get invites every week. We have pretty cool events coming up, if I might say so myself. I'm not gonna say now, but yeah, if you sign up, you're gonna find out. We're also Reckless VR on Telegram and Reckless VR on Twitter, so you can follow that as well. Yeah, and well, for those of you who are here for the first time, I'm gonna explain the next thing that we're gonna do is we're gonna jump over to VR Chat, which is another app. Unfortunately, Will won't be able to join us there because he has this pleb headset, but that's it. But yeah, the rest of us can go there and talk about Fold without Will. So what VR Chat is basically, it's just another app. You can download it on your PC or on your headset, and we have some cool Bitcoin walls and avatars and stuff. It's kind of cool. It's fun. So it's kind of like going for a drink after a meetup, just in VR. So yeah, if you want to join that, you can go to Reckless VR on Telegram, and I'm going to send all the details there in about 15 minutes. You can take like a break and then come back. And yeah, that's it. I'm going to unmute everyone. Thank you for showing up, and have fun staying poor. And that's it.
Yay.
Okay.
We have our voice back.
Thanks, all over the stage again.
Yeah,
Thank you, Udi. Yeah. I am now going to invest in a proper headset so I can join you after.
Oh, okay.
In the future.
See you later.
You should do that.
And I need to dab too.
Yeah,
how can I help with these at all? Can I do anything?
I can probably think of something.
Yeah, think of, Fold could do anything, or, whatever.
Yeah, for sure. Let's take this on the thing.
Yeah,
Where do we talk on Telegram, right? We have so many apps.
Yes.
I can't with all the apps, dude.
I figured, I don't know if that's part of your thinking, but I'm about to throw my Twitter away too. I don't know if your life has gotten, is your life improved?
Hello.
Is your blood pressure lower?
Hello again.
So much better, really. It's
Yeah.
unbelievably better.
Yeah.
So much better.
Who?
Dude, Twitter's addictive.
It absolutely
Yo,
is.
Rusty, can you hear me?
Absolutely.
Hey, Johnny.
Hey, Andrew.
Come here.
Hi.
Andrew,
Sneaking
thank you
up
for
behind me.
the invite and setting everything up with me. I appreciate that.
My pleasure. I'm glad
There,
you could
Rusty?
make it. I was a little worried yesterday, but I'm glad everything worked out.
Yes.
I kept you all
True.
on edge. I'm sorry about that.
No.
No, not at all.
Andrew, I have to thank you for all the user feedback you sent
I
over.
recognize you.
I've shared that all with the team. It was extremely helpful. So anytime you get
And
anything,
you muted.
Sure, yeah.
Oh, you want the stage?
Huh.
I'll give you the stage.
Yeah.
it's exactly
I
right. I mean,
think a few days
right
ago
now,
you
I'm
cured
pretty
an
much- we
owl.
just- that's all we have, really. We're moving so
I'm good.
fast, so much happening. You just
Hi.
gotta make your best
I'm great.
understanding of the signals coming your way with the limited data you have, and a lot of that happens to be anecdotal a lot of the time. So
Hey, Udi.
the more I can get, the better.
Yes.
I think.
Just wanted to
What's
say
that?
hi.
Anna?
I'm Anna. I'm a CoinDesk supporter.
Grasp on getting user
Nice to meet you. Can we do handshakes in VR?
It's just very.
Yes, absolutely. That's a great thing. It's actually such a cool thing that we are.
Oh, thank you. Yeah,
gives
we
that
try to build up. And hey,
opportunity to
Max, how's
people.
it
And
going?
it's not even the pandemic times, you know. It's a chance to meet globally for people all around the world, kind of in one space, in any time.
Yeah.
I mean, for those who can afford headsets, right?
Totally.
Yeah.
No, it's
Yeah,
awesome.
Like-
it's awesome.
Because I was
Like neighbors.
asking around in Russian and Ukrainian and CIS community, like, hey guys, what if we did a VR?
I also sent Udi the
who
picture.
got VR
of the-
headsets? Who would
the
be
writing.
in? And people
Maybe
were
it's a
like,
restaurant.
all right, should I be embarrassed for not having a VR set already?
He recognized that it was.
So, like,
It's still very different. There's some
but
nuances.
Yeah.
I don't know, like maybe
I had no idea.
you're gonna get a really widespread very soon. So, but it's
Yeah.
so great that you're doing it.
I would absolutely
You
love
know
that.
the
it's
language
all
Yeah,
fun, and I
use
think,
the
you know,
talk
we
about
have a
this.
lot
I
of
would
people
love
here
any help we can get. I think we,
you know, VR headset for
it's from my understanding.
Oh, really?
All
What?
the stuff
Yeah, because
Oh, we can go on the
we've been doing
stage.
this for
like need to
6
push it forward and
months, maybe
actually,
more.
get a good partner in it.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
I'd love your help.
Yeah,
8
no,
I
months.
mean, definitely those people are not enjoying, like, you know, not having fun staying poor.
And the payment provider is one payment provider that majority of people
Probably
Maybe.
having fun.
I'm really close to
Staying
see,
rich,
so I
right?
can get it
Well,
to happen
look,
fairly
maybe
fast.
they
And
were
if you've
rich,
got the
then they
EML
spent all their
KYC
money on
regs,
VR
that is the
equipment.
biggest
Now they're
struggle.
not rich, but
You
they're
need to
having
get
fun.
them in a
Yeah.
state that you can
Right.
So they're
actually-
literally
Yeah.
having
There might
fun
be
staying
some
poor.
big partners potentially that we can work on, but
With a
like,
VR
like you need
headset,
to do
which
both.
is
The more
Yes.
payment providers we have, the better. But
True,
yeah,
true.
All right.
most companies are
Well,
using
let me ask you.
for in terms of crypto,
you
except for
gonna join us
CoinSquare,
in-
which
in,
CoinSquare had
VR
wash
chat?
trading, so who cares anyways?
Oh, hey, yeah, grab me.
And they are
Yeah,
Okay, yeah, I
they are
probably
actually owned by a
have
Canadian
a
bank.
little-
It's just kind of like
a
an
little,
offshoot. But
a little of
yeah,
minutes
let's connect.
before my bedtime
Perfect.
because I'm in Moscow.
I was like,
Yeah.
let me talk work enough so I can talk to him. Jesus.
Yeah, that's fine. Like, thanks for arranging.
Yeah, you
so
were
why,
sorry.
why do you have to hop out of here
Yeah,
to
yeah.
VR chat to?
That's
So it's a
To
different
do
app.
No,
Right.
I know, me too. Yeah. I'm really excited about Fold. I'm just like, come on, get to Canada already. But if I can help you get there, that's even better.
Oh,
like,
We want
Canada,
okay, it's
yeah,
about
that's
fancy
the
Canada's
avatars.
avatars.
complicated though, because it's not like the US where it's the
Fancy, fun
SEC. It's
avatars
like
that do
every
videos.
single province has its own regulator.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, you
so,
can go
so
crazy
I'll
in
have
VR chat.
to-
Oh my god, what a headache.
So I'll
So
have to
fun.
spend
I mean,
some
you guys in
time
some
for
sense
setting
have
up my
that too,
avatar
depending
there
on
too, right?
what elements
so
you fall
over there
in
you
Yeah.
can
under
also
the
just
reg
clone
stuff,
a
but
cool
yeah.
avatar
If you got to go
see
state
of
by
someone
state,
else. You
it can
can-
be
you
a-
Exactly.
don't
yeah.
customize
Exactly.
it, you
I
just
don't.
And you-
Yeah, the guys
yeah.
over at River and all that.
Okay.
Yeah, you might have to a little bit. It depends on what your
Okay, so it's
structure looks like. There might need
It's
to
fun,
be
it's lots
certain
of fun.
things that you need to go province by province, but the
And
It is.
MSB
the world's
is a
large.
federal thing, and not you
Foreign.
too.
Huh.
Have you registered for the MSB?
Really?
Yeah.
Yes,
Okay.
we're
Okay,
good. We're
Yeah,
actually,
yeah.
yeah.
They-
So
they
we
have
have, I
different
think it should be
requirements.
fairly easy
should
to
be
get over
very
there,
easy.
but
And some
Yeah, I'm
people
not-
here
I'm
have
not-
made
I'm not
some, so
looking
it's really cool.
All right, I'll DM.
Yeah, we.
Okay.
Cool.
Yeah.
Thanks, Max.
There's a bunch
Yeah,
of different
definitely get a
people
VR
from the
headset.
world
This
here.
has
We can
been
gather
a treasure to do.
Oh,
weekends, 'cause
oh,
there's so little
that's
social
pretty
networking
cool.
that we
That's
can
pretty
do,
cool. Yeah,
but
I'm not.
I-
I'm not
it's
like
nice
an
having
This is
active
wild.
user
around
of
a
VR.
person.
And
Oh,
I,
it
Yeah.
gets better. Just wait till you get into
You will
yeah,
be,
yeah,
you will be.
chat where like there's some avatars
All right,
you like,
all right.
lift
Yeah,
someone
yeah.
up
You just
and like give them
Wow.
a
go down
ride.
that
It's
rabbit hole
fun.
and then you never go back.
That's awesome.
They also
Yeah.
have another meetup.
Right after this,
in Australia.
Andrew told me, already warned me. He's like, go get this Oculus that I have, and
Oh,
so
who they?
I
Who they?
I of course just had a friend who just gave me this
Those-
one. Like this
those
Go
beach
will work, and I'm
pointers,
like,
right?
okay, it is
Yeah, I
amazing,
know.
but I can only
No, but
imagine
you
when I can use both
they
hands, you
talk
know.
about it in-
Sorry, what are you using? A Go?
So,
An Oculus Go,
Oh, what
so I only
is
get
that?
one hand.
All right.
Oh,
And what time everybody's hopping from here to
Oh,
VR
okay.
chat?
Not
Got it.
necessarily for.
Pretty
In
much
about
now,
10
like
minutes.
The next 10 minutes.
Yeah.
And you can't so you can't at all
well,
use it in VR chat.
I think I might not join you
Yeah.
today,
I mean,
probably because yeah,
And Udi
because
said it.
yeah.
I mean,
I want to
technically you
wake
can
up
go
early tomorrow,
pancake mode,
so
like on a computer,
midnight is
VR
about
chat,
time.
right?
But
It's
is
just not the
it
same.
the same time every week? Because I think you did some of these series earlier in the evening. Like it was 6 p.m. or like 4 p.m.
So there were a few times we met up on Friday evenings.
No, we've done we did a seed round back
maybe
about a
you mean
year
that.
ago.
Well, I'm pretty sure that you did the
and
one
we
with
did
the
a
Peter
little. We had a little note open about maybe a month ago or
that's
so.
true.
so
Yeah,
we
the one with
closed.
Peter was earlier than usual.
So we've
because,
definitely raised. We've
because
definitely
of the
raised.
guests. It needed to be earlier.
I am
And everyone complained. Yes.
eager to see
It's
how
very-
well this
Yeah, no,
program
this time,
performs, and we'll
this
see
time
where
is really
that
convenient
means to the next
because,
level.
like,
Obviously,
it's,
hope
it's
to never
10 p.m. my
have to do it again,
time,
but
and
you know,
it's
we'll
basically
see.
nothing else to do at this time, and like there is a little chance I'm outside and able to use my headset, so this
absolutely.
time is perfect. Because like most meetups here on Outspace, for example, they are on the West Coast US time,
Thank you to
which
you
is
both.
like absolutely like doesn't work for me in most cases. It's like 3 a.m. my time.
Get the
but,
snowballs right
you
there
know,
under his
Wait, I
desk.
need to know about those meetups.
A little basketball.
West Coast people are the worst. Do you mean in Bitcoin meetups?
I'm
or
outside of Los Angeles.
Okay. Oh, we're
So
well, there is no
yeah, where are you?
West Coast.
that
Are you-
many meetups.
Okay,
here,
Vancouver, right? Yeah,
And,
yeah. I'm normally on West
I'm not
Coast.
even sure about crypto.
LA area
I
or
don't know if there are any like regular crypto
California,
meetups
Nevada,
in
Arizona, around there.
Right? Well, so yeah.
I'm always
But I
moving.
was just curious, you know, to explore what people are doing here, and everything is like in the West Coast.
Oh, there's
time,
so
and
many.
like,
Wyoming,
okay.
yeah, I've heard a ton of people there.
Next time.
Yeah, I think Kraken's opening an office out there,
Yeah,
like an
it's more
actual
like
real
real
office.
office now. I tried to find sometime that's good for Europe.
Yeah.
Oh, this is
Very cool.
Yeah.
Well, it's between
Yeah.
Silvergate and getting.
But it's about the only time.
Well, thank you for yesterday.
Yeah, I think there was
it was
something
really nice chatting to you
in the last
and
proposal.
great conversation.
And it's
So
Thanks.
see you next week.
Yeah, if you
Yeah, see ya.
Bye.
Bye.
Get, like, hey, we're shutting down.
No.
Services, but not even that.
If you own some of the shitcoins, you can vote for changes.
17 emails later,
When you
they're
get the
like, "Well,
presentation,
actually,
you don't
internal
have that
policy,
choice."
we can't lend. Like, there's like a
Oh,
whole
that's why
business
that's why I'm here.
support program
I can't
that's like
be bored.
government
I need
funding,
toys.
Yeah.
and they're like,
That's
well,
why
actually, we can't lend it. It's kind of been ridiculous.
Prize.
And then
Yeah,
meanwhile,
absolutely.
yeah,
Are you on PC
I know,
again?
And then meanwhile, there's a new
Hey,
fund
come
that
on,
just launched
Johnny,
and
come on.
it's
You can
launching
get
on the
sell
TSX,
the
and it's being
sell the
led by
paper,
CIBC.
You can use
So,
Bitcoin
you know,
only.
big
the
five banks
Genesis
are involved.
newspaper,
It's
and buy
kind of
a buy a headset.
It's so crazy.
Yeah, I know, right?
Iranian,
No comment.
Russia,
Okay.
Argentina, Turkey.
Fair enough.
Exchange where we have price for
Yeah.
Iranian Real to USDT, which is USD, right? And it's 6 times higher than the
Yeah.
official Google price.
Oh, you muted, Johnny.
I found a place
aware of
to
being
say
muted?
where I can have
No,
some data.
no.
25 hours a day on Bitcoin.
Okay, I can speak
Yeah.
now.
Yeah,
Yeah, I was speaking.
US